When the quarterback is in the gun, he's oftentimes going to throw quick routes where he must get the ball out on time and in rhythm, but also fast. Those routes would be tunnel screen, a bubble screen, a quick screen, and obviously a slant, an out, or hitch. When he does that, and he's going to throw those to the left and or to the right, he has to do specific footwork that will enable him to get the ball out on time, in rhythm, and fast. A lot of people suggest and teach that if I'm going to throw to the left and I'm a right-handed quarterback, that I would shuffle over to where I'm going. Okay? The problem with that is you're assuming that the receiver is going to run the right route. In other words, if I shuffle to the left and he's run a slant, I'm going to have to redirect my footwork to the area where he ran the route because he didn't run the right route. Okay? The second issue is if I shuffle over, I'm stuck in a position where if the defender has read the receiver's route and he's coming downhill to that route, whether it's a tunnel, a bubble, or a quick screen, then I'm kind of stuck. I got to throw that, or I've got to reposition my footwork to find my second read. So if I'm thrown to my left and I shuffle, it puts us in that situation that the quarterback doesn't have really many options to do. A better way to do that if I'm thrown to my left is to do a one-step where I'm going to take I'm a right-handed quarterback thrown to the left. I'm going to take my right foot and go toe to heel and step toe to heel just as quick as I can. So what this enables me to do is I can catch the ball and step, and then if he's run the wrong route, I can push off and step to a slant if he's run a slant instead of the bubble screen, quick screen, or the tunnel screen. So I'm going to check, and then I'm going to push, step, and throw. And now I'm doing basically the same mechanics footwork-wise that I've done if I would have done a three-step drop, a five-step drop, or hitched up with any of those drops also. So the one-step drop going to the left would be toe to heel. Notice I'm not gaining a lot of width. I'm going to stay in that A gap, no wider than the A gap. I don't want to get behind the guard, but I'm going to go toe to heel to check and then step and throw wherever that route has matured and happened. If it's exactly what I expected, which is one of the screens, fine. If not, I can adjust my footwork, whether the guy ran the wrong route or the defenders jumped that route. If I'm going to throw to the right, some of the popular opinion is let's just jump, turn, and throw it. And once again, when I've done that, now my energy has gone into the ground instead of being able to push horizontally to the route. So a better way to do that if I'm throwing a slant, hitch, or out, or one of the tunnel, bubble, or quick screens, is to go heel to heel. So I'm going to go heel to heel. Once again, I take this step, put my heel down, and I can check the route and make sure the route is right, and also check and make sure that nobody has jumped that route. So I'm going to go heel to heel, and now I'm push stepping and throwing exactly like I would do if I was taking a drop either from the center or if I'm just going to take a normal drop from the gun position. So to review, going to the left on a one-step throw for any quick route, slant hitch out, tunnel, bubble, or quick screen. It's toe to heel. If I'm going to the right, it's heel to heel. And if you do those, that will allow the quarterback to make up for a receiver who runs the wrong route or a defender who has jumped any of those short routes.
Is gun one step, drop back footwork. And so what you're going to see here on the left is you're going to see this quarterback that's right-handed throwing to his left, his non-dominant side, and the same quarterback over here on the right who's right-handed throwing to his dominant side. And there's different footwork that you do when you're throwing left or throwing right. And so let's look at the footwork he's going to do over on the left. He takes his toe, puts it behind his heel, puts his foot down, and makes a really good throw. So as I mentioned earlier, why would we do this footwork? Number one, we do not want to assume that this receiver is going to run the right route. So we're going to take our toe, put it behind our heel, because this now gives us time before our foot goes in the ground to assess whether he ran the right route or not. If he didn't run the right route, so say for example, the quarterback's in this position where he's loaded up ready to step, and instead of running this bubble screen, he ended up running a slant. Right now, the quarterback could step right where the route is that the receiver ran if it's different than what he expected him to run. Okay. In this case, the receiver runs his bubble route, so the quarterback puts his foot in the ground. Has nice balance and posture. His left arm's tucked, all the things we've talked about in previous videos. His elbow's pointing at the target. He's got 2 feet on the ground. So nice footwork gave him the opportunity to throw this route and maintain good balance and posture. So when you're going to your non-dominant side, right hand quarterback throwing left or left hand quarterback throwing right, the footwork is toe to heel. If you shuffle, if he were to take this step, if he were to just shuffle straight over, all his energy would be going to the left. And then what happens is, even on this bubble screen, if he shuffles the wrong way, his energy's going to the left, but then he has to throw back with his arm outside his body, and his balance and posture are all going left, and his arm's trying to throw it to the right. So it's important to take this toe to heel step so that you can check for the receiver, but you also can step directly where you're going to throw. Over on the right hand side, we've got the same quarterback who's going to do a heel to heel footwork, and he's throwing to his dominant side. And so what has to happen is he has to turn his body around in this direction to be able to get his back foot planted, which is his right foot, and throw to that stationary receiver. This is typically what I do to start to teach this technique. Is I put a stationary receiver over there, and that way that's 10 yards away, and that way he can get comfortable with the footwork from the gun before I ask him to throw a bunch of routes. So we want him to get comfortable with the footwork, and then we'll throw a bunch of routes. So looking at this quarterback's technique, you can see he pivots on his left foot, which is fine. He goes heel to heel, puts his right heel behind his left heel, and now he's in a position where if he was going to throw a route, he could step in any direction that the receiver ran his route, if in fact he didn't run the right route. So we're trying to put the quarterback in a position to make up for a route that's not run right, or if you happen to have a play where you have a bubble screen and a slant and he's supposed to read it, this footwork gives him plenty of time to do that. And you see that he still maintained good balance, good posture, and a good throwing position as he did this. So on the right here, we've got heel to heel to the dominant side. Your foot goes down right in the direction you're going to throw, and then this footwork still gives you the opportunity to maintain good balance and posture and your release and in your mechanics. The one area that both of them have in common is the fact that besides the opportunity to make up for a route that's rerun, is that they're not gaining a lot of ground. In other words, when you watch this footwork, you don't see them moving a lot to their right or their left when they do that. And the reason we don't want to do that is we'd like to stay right in that A gap. So on the right here, when you see this quarterback turn, you see he's pretty much centered right behind the center. And so what that allows, it allows that guard to be able to funnel their guys around him. So if you gain too much width and you end up past this A gap, and the A gap would be somewhere right in here, then you make it easier for like a 3 technique to run up the field and get in the throwing lane. So this footwork besides being the most efficient way to transfer energy and maintain good balance and posture, it also allows you not to gain a lot of width when you're going to make these throws. And if you look over here on the left, it's the same way. So he hasn't gained a lot of ground by taking this step. He's still within the A gap, and that's the framework that I give them. You have to remain in the A gap when you do this footwork. So that's gun one step to the dominant side and non-dominant side, and I'll play each one of these one more time. Toe to heel. Now to the dominant side, heel to heel. And as I mentioned in the video, if you want him to get the ball out faster, he can do the same footwork, just have him accelerate his feet. That's gun one step, drop back.
Right now, let's take a look at some of our quarterbacks doing the one-step toe to heel to the left and heel to heel to the right on the short game throws.
Yes.
Go.
What?
Go.
The concept behind throwing the screens and the short game throws, the slant out hitch, is to get the ball out of your hand as fast as possible. So the footwork that I mentioned allows you to do that. But I want to remind you that it's how fast your feet go that determines how fast the ball gets out of your hand. Obviously, you need to have the correct footwork so that when you turn, you can make up for either somebody who runs the wrong route or a defender that jumps the route. But it's how fast your feet go. In other words, this would be getting the ball out slow but still doing the right footwork, as opposed to catching it and moving my feet faster. So if you'd like your quarterback to get the ball out faster on the short game throws, just have him do the right footwork, as I mentioned, to the left and the right, but have him move his feet faster, and that gets the ball out faster.